3, 2, 1, action! Welcome to the Church of Suicidal. You ever heard that song by Suicidal Tendencies? Send Me Your Money. That's like the greatest song ever. It's like it's about preachers. It's like, welcome to the Church of Suicidal. We'll have a sermon and a wonderful revival.
Didn't you play that last year?
The name of the song's called Send Me Your Money.
Yes, you did.
Send me your money.
Yeah, I remember when he put that out there last year. He's like, this is my church right here.
Yeah, hey, welcome to the show. We'll just let you in and be a part of our world over here. We talk about shit from the 90s, like suicidal tendencies from time to time on here. It's good stuff. If you never heard that song, you should check it out on YouTube. After you're done watching this episode of American Entourage, I'm your host, Ryan Stewman. We got my homie, Travis Plum over here. And the other homie, Patrick Grass. We call him P Dizzle. This is P Dizzle over here.
P Dizzle.
And then we got a guest today too, which is my man Ryan Nichols, the e-commerce going over here. The Amazon, the Amazon Amazor, right? Like we'll call him that.
He's the Al Bundy of Amazon.
He's the Al Bundy of Amazon. That's right.
He had a pretty good meme the other day on that too. I saved that. That's gonna be my profile picture today.
Oh yeah.
I really appreciate that.
Al Bundy.
I saw a meme on Instagram. I think I sent it to you. That said, it was a picture of Peg Bundy and Caitlyn Jenner. It's like Bruce Jenner just trying to be Peg Bundy.
Yeah, I think you sent it to me by
Was it you?
Yeah, I think you sent it to me for sure. I was dying.
They look a lot alike too in that picture. They both got like big ass boof on their hair and shit.
You're not trying to get early release on your Facebook, man, are you? No, you don't. One thing you don't do is go for Bruce. You don't go
First
for
time I went in front of the parole board, they denied me. So I figure I got at least one denial on the Facebook parole board as well. So
they're gonna hit him for another 30 days. Just bring him up.
I'll never forget that day. My lawyer said, you're a shoo-in to make first parole. You're a first-time offender. I go in there and they're like, full sentence. I'm like, fuck. That guy was a roach, man. All right. So before we get into the show, I want to, it's just the advertisement part, right? Here's the thing. It's Christmas time, Kwanzaa time, Hanukkah time. It's a time that it's actually the time that all religions must have gotten together and been like, December, that's our month, right? But besides that, it's the time where we start getting a lot more Amazon gifts to our front door. We start getting presents under our tree. We start having family over. We leave doors unlocked and back doors unlocked so that we can let family members that are out of town in and out of our home. And we just do things that we normally don't do. And you don't think nothing of it. I don't think nothing of it. But thieves are out there on the watch, ladies and gentlemen. Motherfucking thieves will steal your shit, right? You want to protect your money from thieves and stupid people? Put it in books, right? It's motherfucking stupid people don't fuck with books. But anyway, so here's the thing. You've got to protect your stuff, right? I mean, if you're anything like us in the room, like we buy our families expensive gifts. You know, we work all year, and I don't even believe in Christmas, right? But my kids, they have been indoctrinated, Santa Claus and all this other stuff. So we get them nice gifts. We get each other nice gifts. If you got a significant other, you might have bought them a Rolex or a diamond or whatever the case may be. And oftentimes that shit's just getting delivered to your front porch. Well, here's the thing. Who's protecting that stuff? Is anybody watching it? Is anybody keeping an eye out? You got some goons, some neighbors with some binoculars? You got anything going on to keep an eye on your front porch to make sure that thieves, stupid motherfuckers, aren't stealing your shit? Because here's what I suggest. I suggest you go over to yourfreealarm.com and sign up, get a free alarm. They'll install the alarm. They'll put the alarm in your house. They'll tie it into the windows, the doors, and everything else. And then you can select the different kinds of cameras that you want to upgrade to as well. And here's what I have. I have this thing called Ring on my front door. I'll turn this bitch on right now. I got on my front door, and anytime somebody rings the doorbell, I can just look at my phone, and I can push the intercom thing, and I can talk to them wirelessly, right? Like wirelessly. It's just a simple thing that we install at yourfreealarm.com. And I can have a conversation. I was just telling the mailman to sign for me the other day. It's like, my signature looks like shit anyway. Nobody knows the difference. Just sign it, man. We got a cool mailman like that. I lived at the same place for a while. So people come over, my friends. I can sit on the couch and I can literally see before I get up if it's somebody that's trying to solicit to me. And it records stuff. So if there's any motion on the front porch, somebody try to steal your Amazon shit, it automatically records them. It'd be like caught on camera. You get to show up at the motherfucker's house like Chris Matthews wondering why they got a hammer, some duct tape, and rope in the fucking trunk of their car. You know what I'm talking about? So just go over to yourfreealarm.com, sign up, protect your shit, right? Wu-Tang Financial, protect your neck, right? Protect your shit, and make sure that you keep stupid motherfucker. Because here's what I do know. When I was on the other side of the law, when I was a bad guy, if I had the family that I had today and I couldn't provide for them in the legal way that I can, I would be coming to people's houses looking for shit, right? That was the kind of person, that was the kind of piece of shit that I used to be, and I know a lot of pieces of shits that used to be like me too that are still out there now, and you gotta protect your shit from them. The best way to do that, and the least expensive way to do that is to go over to yourfreealarm.com. All right, let's get into the show, y'all.
Little Ryan would have been in your bushes.
Oh, yeah, you know what?
Peeking through.
Do you know, like it's funny how technology works, but as a young man, UPS and shit, everything you had to sign for. They didn't leave anything on your front porch when I was growing up. When we were growing up, maybe it's a little different because y'all are a few years younger than I am. But like when I was growing up, like you didn't get anything left on the front porch without signing for it. Somebody had to be there. My parents would always say, after school, you have your ass home. The mailman shows up at 4 o'clock, and we ain't finna miss shit because it was important back then. There wasn't the arrangements that we have today. And, dude, I remember as a kid getting into people's mailboxes and shit, right? Like, no fucks given as a young man.
I did that.
And federal crime or not, no fucks given as a young man, right? And it's not like your parents, if they don't see you getting into people's mailboxes, they don't tell you the severity of that crime, you know what I mean? And I can only imagine if Amazon was delivering shit to people's front porches back when I needed money, bro. I would have fucking just been up in the nice neighborhoods taking shit from their porches, man.
They got a lot of videos of people doing that too. Just run up and grab all the Amazon boxes and run back out to the car.
Yeah, see, that's how technology works, though. They got the camera game right, then they got the Amazon package game to match it. You know what I'm saying? They made sure that the cameras were there. But like, man, you know, there's a mid-level neighborhood, and pay attention, folks. These are motherfuckers that get robbed. But there's a mid-level neighborhood where, you know, they don't have cameras, but they're still getting decent shit dropped off on their front porch, and you can make a fucking killing in that motherfucker, you know? And I'm not encouraging anybody to commit anything illegal. I'm just saying, you know, we live in a time where you have no excuse not to protect your shit. But it's funny how, you know, technology, because as a young man, I would have definitely been taking people. This time of year, shit, it'd have been Christmas every goddamn day for me.
You could pay like an extra $25 or $50 now on Amazon, and they'll send a guy out with your package that will pick your lock and put your stuff inside of your door now.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's an extra service that they just started. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
Not me, you ain't coming to my house.
Exactly, yeah. Like I was like, I don't know if I want that.
I
So
would want
it's
that.
crazy. Like, do you want Amazon to have the names and numbers of people that will have their lock picked before? You know, that's crazy right there.
But hold on.
Pick your lock.
Oh, yeah, this
People-
motherfucker talking about pick locks and shit. Let's take 2 steps back. Never mind that they're in our house. Like,
Amazon
I guess
pick
that's a real thing, though. I guess people could pick the lock on your house and just fucking come in, huh?
They can do it in like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
It's fucking
they have a
crazy.
locksmith that will
Oh,
open
shit.
your lock to your door. If you're gone, they will open the deadbolt and they will open the lock on the door and put your gifts right inside from Amazon and then close the door and lock it back up for you.
So
And
at this point, if locks are easy to pick, and my grandfather always said a lock is to keep an honest person out. You know, if fuck a thief wants in, if a piece of shit wants in, they'll get in, right? The lock is to keep an honest person out. But let's think about this for a second. If we know that locks are basically useless, and so an honest people, they're not going to open the door anyway, right? So locks, let's just render them basically useless. What kind of fucking door is there next, right? Is there the electric fence door? Right? Like,
Man, that'd be
is there
crazy.
that shit? Or is there the door of death where like you open it up and there's like a fucking shotgun that fucking points at you and you're like, never mind. Right? Is there the paint bucket on top of the fucking door waiting to drop
that's
down on
nice,
you?
man.
That fucking never got old in Looney Tunes.
Remember when we were floating through the streets over there in Houston, and we were like, I don't know if we want to knock on these doors because it just felt like there was
Dude.
something behind them.
It really did, man. It was kind of scary, you know, because you just don't know. I mean, there were people still in their homes.
Yeah.
So like they could
Dog
be in there.
that fell out and drowned in the home that we heard. Like,
Yeah,
it was
that was
crazy.
crazy.
Like, we were afraid to go up to the doors because people were like shooting at everybody down there. So
Yeah.
it's like Home Alone, man. Is there gonna be a kid behind this door? What's back there? Macaulay Culkin gonna be back here? What's his name?
Yeah, it was crazy.
How sadistic was that little fucker? Like, we laugh about that movie, but this little serial killer
He was smart.
motherfucker set up traps in his own house to fucking terrorize those
Yeah,
guys.
3
How
movies.
stupid
too.
were those thieves? Why did they just get the fuck out of the house?
And he did it all in like one
that
day.
movie's bullshit.
And all in one day,
He
too.
did it all
yeah.
in one day.
I wonder how bad that shit sucked when that movie came out for like parents around the world. Their kids were setting up traps.
I was totally
Yeah.
setting up traps.
You gotta
that
think.
too.
I mean,
Yeah, I did
I
too.
definitely-
yeah, I did. Definitely
And-
because of that movie.
As an adult, you look back and you're like, what the fuck did Kevin's dad do for a living that they could live in that big ass house in New York and all fly to Europe for fucking
And
Christmas?
all
right?
those
Like,
kids,
Yeah,
too.
like,
Yeah, all of them.
that's what's like Kevin's dad was a baller. No wonder they ran into Donald Trump at the hotel they were at. Remember that?
Yeah,
Donald Trump
yeah.
was in
That was
the
right.
He's like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, that's right.
So speaking of Trump, hell, we might as well get into it. So here's the thing. This week it's been like the sex scandal. Like this, just like at first they turned on the racism spigot. And it's like all of a sudden it just like we got so used to it or something, it wasn't enough. And they said, well, shit, we got to turn the hot water on too. And the hot water is the sexual fucking spigot. Because see, there's 4 things. I've been saying this for years. I figured this out when I was in prison. And I'm sitting in there. And I said, what do you do? What'd you do to get put in, man? What'd you do to get put in? I learned what all these different people did to get put in there. And I learned this. There's really only 4 things they use to discredit you. Because in federal prison, there's a lot of innocent people. You know, I'm one of them. I shouldn't have been in there. You know what I mean? They fucked me over, right? There's a lot of people that are politicians that are in there, or they were lobbyists for politicians or something, and then the guy got elected and he fucked them over, right? There's like, it's a fucking dirty game. It's not like state prison where you were, and I've been there too. But it's not like that where it's like fucking low-level criminals. It's these federal fucking guys in here, right? At least at the one that I was at. And so, anyway, I learned that there's 4 things that the media, we'll just say the media, that's the government, anybody of influence, right, that they use to discredit you, okay? Because let's say that you're Alex Jones, and you're like, interdimensional pedophiles are running the planet, right? And like that's your
that was good right there.
And so, and that's your claim. They like, and let's say that that's true, okay? Like as far-fetched as it is, let's say that that's true. And you can prove it, and you've got pictures and fucking everything else of like fucking aliens, fucking little kids, and you've got it all, right? Like you can prove it all, okay? They've got to do something to discredit you, right? Mm-hmm. So that there's something to discredit you. And there's 4 things they use. I give you a prime example. Old man Bundy, he beat the BLM, not Black Lives Matter, but the Bureau of Land Management. Remember that? Yeah. Right? He said, we've been grazing our cattle longer than your entity and the government's been formed. Mm-hmm. And he said, you know, my great-great-great-great-grandfather. And so this guy, somehow, this little farmer, somehow got fucking a nation of motherfuckers. Like those Indians up in North Dakota can't even get no goddamn help. And this one little farmer gets a nation of motherfucking natives. I know they get mad about that. I learned that in New Mexico. So.
But that wasn't, I don't think that was them. I think that was that lady.
I think it was the white people. It's always the fucking white people, right? Like we fuck that up. We don't, but fucking some of our culture people do. And so
you had somebody go off on you over there by using the correct term.
Don't call them Indians, right? Yeah. So what am I supposed to say? Native style?
Yeah.
Motherfucker. They prefer Native American. Yeah. And so, anyway, nobody will help those guys in North Dakota. They were getting blasted with fucking water. It's so fucking freezing up there. And they're getting beat up over a pipeline and shit like that. Meanwhile, this fucking country-ass farmer dude somehow rallies like motherfuckers from Alabama saying, pack up the car, Peg. We're going to fucking help Bundy. You know what I'm saying? Like, somehow he gets his But for the first time ever, a militia's shown the fucking government up. You think about that. The government backed down. They said, fuck it. You can have the land. We don't give a fuck.
Yep.
Right? And they gave them the land. It's the first time in history now. The news downplayed this like they did Ron Paul's candidacy. You remember? Like, there's 2 things that didn't exist that year in the news. Ron Paul and fucking Bundy, right? They kept it until he won. And he had this big press conference. And the first thing he did was he started talking about black people. Right?
Yeah, I remember that. And it was like, dude,
and I guarantee you, they used that opportunity. That would say, hey man, we're gonna let you off, and you won this war, but we're gonna have to do some really shit to like discredit you altogether. Because I just can't for the life of me believe that you beat the government. The first thing you're gonna say is some stupid racist shit. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. That's the last thing on your mind. It's like, I just beat the government. These crooked motherfuckers. Fuck these like that. That would be what I would do. Some Conor McGregor shit. The double champ apologizes to no government, right? Mm-hmm. And so even though he did apologize this week for fucking pushing the ref.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like he went in there wilding.
And but so he gets up there and he says, you know, and now so the rest of the world goes, well, Bundy, oh man, Bundy's racist, right? And I went, they got him, man. That's how the feds work. They got him. They got him on one of the 4 things. One of them's racism, right? Because instantly, no matter how good, how credible you are, if they say you're racist, fucking game over for you right now. Like, the people you're racist against won't fuck with you. The people that is in your own culture won't fuck with you because nobody wants to be labeled that shit. It's fucking bad label right now. The only person that's been able to shake off the racist thing is Trump, and the only reason that is because he ain't racist, right? If they had any fucking proof of that guy doing anything racist ever, just like they got a violent dude grabbing a pussy. You know, we're going to talk about that in a minute. So one of them is race. This is the second thing. We're just going to Trump here. You know, it's a sexual thing. They said that Trump was racist over and over again. It didn't work. So then they said, well, here's this tape where someone grabbing these bitches by the pussy, right? Mm-hmm. And so then all of a sudden you go, oh, he's a sexual predator, right? So the second thing they do is they say you're into weird sex shit. The thing that saved Trump, which is what I'm about to get into here, is the fact that the chick's pussy he was talking about grabbing was hotter than fucking chicken grease, man. You know what I'm saying? So every dude in America's like, I wouldn't mind grabbing that either. You know? The betas weren't, right? The betas are like, oh man, vagina, oh, that probably feels weird on my hands, right? But the fucking rest of us were like, dude, if she let me grab it, I'll grab that motherfucker too, right? Trump's just being like, whatever. Floyd Mayweather even said that too. And it's not even locker room talk. We talk about this shit in our office.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? We see some
like,
shit on Instagram, and us dudes are like, man, you know what the fuck I'm saying on this, you know?
It happens every day, all day, man.
And so, but the fact that she was hot, had she been some fucking ugly wildebeest of a woman, people would have been like, Trump's a fucking weirdo, man. Who would want to fuck that, right? There's something wrong with this guy, okay? So that second thing is sex. The third thing is they do this to a lot of people in Hollywood, is they send you to rehab, so they tell you to get cleaned up, but then they can say you had a drug problem.
Yep.
The thing is, most of us got a drug problem in some form or another. You know, we smoking weed, drinking alcohol, popping pills, whatever the fuck it is that people do. Just snorting, taking Molly, fucking whatever, tricking off some bullshit, whatever the fuck, boy, girl, all the little slang things, right? Mm-hmm. But most people doing something, and pot's legal, alcohol's legal, you know, so, and meth's legal, you just call it Adderall, right? So it's like, in Molly's legal, it's just fucking MDMA, you know, there's like fucking all sorts of everybody on shit. So really, and I know you on something you ain't gonna tell me about, you on something I'm not gonna tell you about, you know, so everybody's kind of keeps secrets. So the drug thing used to be real powerful though. In the 80s, if you were like, he's on crack, you'd be like, oh no. Now you'd be like, I know a couple guys that smoke crack every now and then that are all right, you know, right? Like, we know a couple that should fuck your life up, but we know a couple that seem to make it. He tweaks every now and then, that's kind of his thing, you know. If I do a couple lines of coke every now and then, that's his shit, you know. And we all know some fucking people like that, so, and we all, like, college is full of drugs and everything, and so people are like, they're not as judgy as they used to be when it comes to drugs, but that's the other one, is drugs, right? So we got racism, we have sexual shit, like into weird sexual shit. He likes kids, right? Like shit like that, right? Are you a rapist? Some shit like that. We have, what was the third one? I just said it, man. We got and then the fourth one, I'll come back to that. So we got, they discredit you based on a character for sexual stuff, drug problem, absolutely. And racism, and then the fourth one, from time to time, drugs catch up to me, you know what I'm saying? I don't judge anybody.
Wait, what are we talking about?
And then the fourth one is violence. They say, oh, he beat this person up, or he's violent, you know, he beat up this woman, or that, you know, he hit this person, or he beat this person, assaulted.
Scared to look at you.
That assault is verbal? I could tell you, fuck you, and if you felt fear, you could fucking file an assault charge on me.
Not quite here yet. That's not quite in America yet.
Well, no, it is, but the cops are going to fucking fill out the paperwork for it. They're going to be like, grow some fucking balls, Mr. Graves. But, like, that, I saw, so here's the thing.
Oh, you're talking about, like, a threat. Like, that's a threat, though, if you say, like, I'm about to...
Yeah, if we're sitting there, like, man, I'm going to fuck you up, and you call the police, that's assault.
That's a terroristic threat.
Yeah, no, that's assault.
Assault?
Yeah, a battery is when I fucking punch you, right? Assault is the fucking me having the intent. I just learned this, right? Because there was this fucking lawyer, and the dude was telling him, was like, man, I'll fuck you up, blah, blah, blah. And the dude's like, that's assault. Here's the fucking, he starts citing the shit. I was like, oh, goddamn, man. I could have been in jail like 100 times by now, right? Like, shit, I gotta clean my act up, man. It's fucking weird living out here these days, you know? The second time I went to prison, I didn't know the rules. I didn't know the rules. Said, Texas say you can have a gun, the feds say you can't have a gun. I didn't know that assault, I thought assault meant you hit somebody or some shit, man. You know, it's like, you know, I grew up, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names never hurt me, right? Words never hurt me. And that shit, apparently you can go to fucking jail for being wordy with a motherfucker. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine? Let's just think about traffic.
I would just deny it.
Let's just think about traffic, right? Like, how many times a day would you go to jail sitting in traffic, right? Like, threatening the motherfucker next to you. Fuck you motherfucker. You fucking no driving motherfucker. Right? Like, think about that. How many times that, like, everybody would just be just fucking crazy. Cold world that we live in. Cold world that we live in. But so anyway, the reason why I bring that up is right now them sex scandals are on the rise because racism's getting the line of racism's getting a little blurred. The news has been promoting this racist agenda for quite a while, and we talked about it on the show a lot, so I'm not going to go into that. But it's once something's repeated over and over again, it's like in the drug world, right? First time you see a couple people, I was listening to Gucci Mane's biography and he was talking about that this morning. First time you go to like a tweaker house or a trap house and you see people missing their teeth and shit like that, you're like, it's fucking weird, right? It's fucking damn. You 4 or 5 times you go over there, you're like, it's fucking Brenda and Bob. You know what I mean? It just like shit becomes normal. At first when you go to the military, it's weird, then you adapt to your surroundings, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, fuck all these dudes, right? Same in prison, right? You adapt to your surroundings and shit.
Yeah, I remember it came out.
Yeah, not sure what's going on in there.
Fuck all these dudes, and he's getting excited.
That's what I was thinking too.
Look at all these dudes. Yes.
Little giggling from the closet in there.
And so,
in the closet.
it just becomes like the norm, right? After a while, just things become the norm. So they've screamed racism so long that it's become like, you know what, you guys been saying this shit. No, you ain't doing nothing about it. So they got to start screaming something new. So the other 4 pillar is sex, right? Because I told you violence, pretty much every dude's been in a fight unless you're a beta, right? You've been in a fight, at least when you were a kid. And drugs, pretty much everybody's on it. So those are the only 2 that still have a lot of power over people. And they've worn the racism cycle out. So now they're really on the sex scandal. So I see this guy, what's his name, Rory Moore from Alabama. You can look it up. Yeah. Look up how many chicks have accused him. And so
when did this come out? Today?
It's been out for about a week now. And I'm going to point something out about these political sex scandals is why I'm getting into this. But this Roy Moore guy is running for like senator or governor in Alabama. And listen, Alabama's a red state, so I don't even know why the Democrats even fucking remotely...
5 women.
Yeah, even remotely. Like, let's just say, like, however you vote. I don't even know why the Democrats even want to fuck with Alabama. First of all, it's one of the least populated states possible, and it ain't never going to fucking happen, right? It's a red state. It's red, like, it's red as a motherfucker, and it ain't even big like Texas, to where it can be red and some other shit blue in there. The motherfucker's red. So if it ain't Rory Moore, it's somebody else that steps up and says, I'm Republican, no matter how qualified that Democrat is, ain't going to elect him.
Yeah.
And that's how the media gets these motherfuckers' hopes up and shit like that, and it lets them down when just common sense will tell you that the folks in fucking Alabama ain't electing Democrats.
This guy,
not in the time we in right now with Trump as our president.
The ones they have over there in Alabama, all these places, like those rhinos, as they say, those have seeped into all levels of government. So there's people like at the people on the
Mitt Romney motherfuckers.
Yeah, exactly, John McCain. So these people, so the citizens that have been voting, they're just saying, all right, well, we like the Republicans, we're just going to vote for them. But they've been putting in these shills the whole time. They don't even know it. And so
Trojan horses.
And so Roy Moore, man, he's actually one of...
He's a rhino.
He's Trump's guy.
He's the real deal.
He's the real deal. Roy Moore's like the real deal. Like, he's the real deal Trump guy. And he's going to go all the way. That's why he's getting so much heat. And you ought to see these fucking letters that, like, they say, like, the evidence that they have is, like, a yearbook signing that he did for some chick. And, he said, I guess he mentioned some... I guess that's the evidence they're using that he raped her or whatever. Anyways, if you look at it, it's like really doctored yearbook thing. Like you can see like the colors change on it.
Evidence of rape.
I don't know. Yeah, this is
like,
what they have.
I'm just gonna say it, man. Liberalism and Democrat is a disease.
It is.
It is. And I'm not a Republican. I'm not a fucking libertarian. I'm a goddamn human, but I can see the overwhelming amount of stupidity in that community, and they're gonna get mad at me for saying that, right? And that's okay. I see stupidity in the Republican side too, man. But from the Democrat side, it's like they keep getting these, like, let's just talk about, like, they keep putting up these, like, black kids that get shot, right? And they say, oh, Travis the black kid was just this great guy, never got in any trouble. And then they fucking get mad when the police gets off and the media don't tell you a whole story. You look at the whole damn story on YouTube and the dude was waving a fucking gun at the cop and shit like that. Fired 2 shots and hit somebody else. They conveniently leave that shit out of the story a lot of times. And the Democrats keep falling for it. They say it's injustice. Like he was waving a gun at the fucking cops. They fucking put guns to my fucking head and I didn't even have a goddamn weapon when they came to get me.
And in spite of the evidence,
and in spite of the evidence, story continues just like despite they ain't got no evidence of Trump ever being racist. None. But the story still continues. They ain't got no evidence of Trump being colluding with Russia. And Russia's a good fucking country for us to be fucking partners with anyway, right? But they got no evidence of this shit, and they keep fucking pushing the story forward. And then it's like, we just got to come up with a bigger, more believable lie. right? That's what they keep doing.
Man,
so that's what they're
worse
doing
and
with
worse.
the sex scandal on Roy. Now I don't know Roy. Maybe he touched these girls, but here's what I know. Ladies, pay attention. If some motherfucker touched you in the 70s and you don't say nothing until 2017, fuck you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Fuck you. You know what? Obviously, it wasn't that fucking bad because you fucking stayed shook for 40 fucking years. I wasn't even alive till 1979. So if this fucking dude touched these chicks in fucking 1974 or 84 or whatever the fuck, how come they didn't say nothing then? Why did they wait until this motherfucker's about to become something and then they fucking try to ruin him with no evidence? Why? Because they're fucking ploys from the Democrats. But here's what happened. But it gets better because they started it with one, and then everybody went, whatever, and I'm about to drop a big ass red pill on you. They started with one, and everybody went, I don't believe her. And they said, well, fuck, you gotta get another one. They did this to Bill Clinton. The Republicans did this to Bill Clinton. Actually, the Democrats did it to Bill because he fucked them over, right? But remember, they sent Paula Jones, and it didn't work, right? And then they said, well, fuck, dude. Then there was the fucking other chick. What was her name? Not Lewinsky, but there was one before her too.
Juanita Broderick.
And so they fucking sent her in there, and they're like 2 fucking rapes, right? And then they got Monica Lewinsky giving them a blowjob, like 3 strikes, you're impeached, right? That's what happened. So it didn't happen with this guy. He went, well, the second one said from the 70s too. And the reason why they say the 70s is because there's no fucking evidence, obviously.
Exactly.
But there's also statutes of limitations. And so I'm not saying that the dude didn't touch some people. But I'm saying if I got a daughter, your daughter, this is important. You should teach her this. If somebody touches you, don't wait, say it now.
Yeah.
Right? If you feel that some shit was inappropriate, say it now.
That's what a big beef with.
If you see something, say something.
That's what a big beef with this whole rape culture thing is, because they're trying to say, like, you know, they're trying to go after all these males and just say, oh, there's a big rape culture, but nobody names names. Like, so what are we fighting this enemy? Like, if nobody's gonna put them out there, if they're gonna wait, or if they're gonna wait until the motherfucker's famous and a Trump guy in office, then all of a sudden now they're gonna start naming names. All of a sudden.
What's even bad about this is it's not even rape. They're not even accusing them of rape or sexual assault. They're saying like
sexual misconduct.
Remember, assault is words.
Right.
I just cleared that up earlier in the show, right? And you see that he's not even a rapist, right? So here's the thing: these chicks might have been pretty in the 70s, and Roy been like, "Hey, girl, you fucking or what?" Right? Like that was free love, and people were on acid, fucking good mushrooms, and non-GMO fucking food and shit back then, right? Like life was good. Like things were different back then. You've seen Dazed and Confused and stuff. So, but the little snowflakes alive now don't realize what it's like to get chased down by seniors and beat up. You know what I'm saying, right? Like they don't. These little 14 and 15-year-old kids that live in my neighborhood. Their mom drives them to the bus stop every morning and then waits until the bus picks them up.
But all this
What the fuck, man? I walked to school when I was 5 years old.
Me too.
So Jax walks to the fucking park. Anyway, so here's the big kicker. This is the red pill that I was talking about. Okay, so it's sexual misconduct, sexual assault, which means that there doesn't have to be rape, but it sounds important, but it could be just words. But they're all ugly bitches. You know why? Ain't none of these chicks hot. And the reason why they show up 40 years later, because guys like me and you go, who would have sex with that monster?
Yeah.
Right? And then you're like, he must be some kind of pervert to want to fuck an ugly fucking fat chick like that, right? But if these were all like really hot chicks, we'd go, I'd probably have a little misconduct with that too.
Yeah.
Because that's, and people try to like repress your sexual feelings or whatever shit. That's like just as natural as taking a shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Having some sexual arousal is just as natural as taking a shit. And the fucking snowflakes, the people that can't deal with it, the tiny penis motherfuckers, they try and make you, and the people that are struggling with that sexuality shit, try to suppress us. But the thing is, if you spit game to some cute chick, but these aren't cute chicks, and the reason why is because they want you to go, what kind of a monster would hit on that one?
Creep.
Creep, exactly. Whereas if they were hot, the world would go, dude, of course he hit on her. She's fucking beautiful.
That C word, they're going to say the creep word.
The insidious nature of liberalism, man, it's just fucking insidious too. Because like, I just to use an example, we had there was a few chicks that came up here from Houston, right? And they said, the guys in Dallas are like really like they're not as aggressive as the guys in Houston. The thing is, up here, the Dallas is a very, very fucking liberal place, and it deals with, and so you have a lot of this shit going on where like this rape culture thing going. It's making guys more conservative or more to where they don't want to step out there like that because of these types of things that are going on, because of like. Since the mentality of this shit is just off the walls, like they want to make you feel bad
for being a dude or like you're a part of something.
There's cameras everywhere, man, and you can like construe anything to what you want it to be by cutting that video to whatever you want it to be too. So like somebody, like I've seen so many things too, to where when you see the whole video, just like with Trump tossing the fish food in the pond, like the other guy too, the emperor over there, whoever it was in Japan, right? He was tossing food in too, and then tossed his whole bowl and turned it over as well. They didn't show that part though. They only showed Trump dumping his bowl.
You know,
Fake news.
well, you know, Josh asked me not too long ago. He's like, "Say, man, when you was making all that money and you were single in like 2008, 2009, man, you was just probably having threesomes and just fucking loading up." And I said, "Man, you know what? I'm smarter than that.
Yeah.
Sounds like it'd be a good time until you get in trouble for it, man. They got 50 Cent, they got Mike Tyson, they got fucking Magic Johnson, they got Kobe Bryant. You know what I'm saying? Like, those guys are way greater than I am. There's no fucking way that I would stand a chance." And a lot of dudes go out there and take risks, man. But these days, it only takes one chick to say, "Nah, he thought it was consensual because he was drunk. It wasn't consensual." And you're in trouble, man. So I've always had like a girlfriend.
If you didn't have shit, you know what I mean? It's all good if you don't have shit.
Yeah.
But then you get shit, and you're like, if you start talking some liberal shit to me, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm deuced. I'm gone. If I get wind of it,
it's scary.
I'm done.
It's scary, man. Because what you gonna do when you get mad?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you start talking some like liberal stuff. Like, what are you gonna do when you get mad? Because you know,
because you believe this rape, you believe all this rape culture shit's going on, and
hey, I was in prison. You were in prison. Small fraction of motherfuckers in there for rape.
Yeah, exactly.
Small fraction of motherfuckers in there for murder. You know what everybody's in there for? What do you think everybody's
drugs?
In there for? Exactly.
And guess who was in there for rape? Fucking Democrats.
Yeah.
You know, those fucking beta soy boy motherfuckers that had to sit right up in the front to be close to the button to press that button whenever they started getting their asses kicked. Yeah. That's crazy.
So that's what they're doing. They're turning the sex scandal spigot up, and one's not enough, so we're going to send 5 in. We're going to call it assault because nobody has to have any evidence or anything other than he made me feel uncomfortable. That's what this society's getting indoctrinated with, and at the same time we're going to make them ugly chicks because nobody would believe that fucking anybody short of a monster would hit on the nice old librarian lady, right? You don't see these ladies and be like, "Yeah, I like to come on her glasses," right? Like, they're not like that, right?
That's why if somebody hit that, they have some deep-seated issues.
You know, like, I can't do it because I'm convicted, but we need somebody, and Trump's pretty close, but we need somebody just like me to run for office. Just somebody that's just fucking honest as all, like, no matter, even if they're up to no good, like, what are you doing for a living? I'm selling crack, right? Like, whatever, right? Like, how'd you make all that extra money? Well, turns out the government moves keys to Colombia, right? Like, whatever it is, just we just need somebody fucking honest in there, man. Yeah, no shit. It's like, it wouldn't matter who it is, but we just need somebody who's just going to tell it. We need a robot president that's just programmed for nothing but the truth.
That's it.
And because here's the thing, what if all the things they're trying to hide from us, what if you knew how to fix it? What if they've been trying to hide the JFK murders for 40 years, but then like you heard the story and you're like, "Oh, dude, well, all you had to do was this." It's like, well, goddamn. Right? But if they don't share, that's why, you know, big government's against the internet, because we're sharing information and we're solving fucking problems, and they're looking like morons because these are the problems that they've been trying to solve for fucking decades.
Well, because we've been depending on them to solve these problems, and now we're like, well, fuck, we've got the power. We can solve these problems.
What if these problems have already been solved, and they've just been trying to keep the shit a big ass fucking secret?
Exactly.
What if the artificial intelligence is like fucking fixes everything? It's like
nice.
That was easy.
That was all it was.
Every time we'll talk about artificial intelligence, I'll tell you my theory on it, man. I heard it on this very intelligent guy was talking about it. He was like, is technology a living organism that is using human beings as its host to grow? And if you think about that, because we are, is that this is living and we are helping technology spread, you know? So like, is technology a living organism and are we its host to help it grow?
Man, when I was on ayahuasca and I was up there talking to God, he was saying that there's natural things and synthetic things, and we have reached a critical tipping point where we spend more time and more information in the synthetic things than the natural things. For example, the grass that grows outside is the same ancient grass that's been on this fucking planet since day one. Grass hadn't evolved. Grass is the fucking same. So that DNA blueprint that the great creator, right, the force of average, whatever you want to call that thing, the great creator DNA, the fucking blueprint that it gave that plant's the same. There's redwood trees in fucking California in a million years. Same with rocks, right? That DNA blueprint that those rocks got have been here for billions of years, right? However, we as a species have evolved, right? Like we came from the water. I come from the water. Remember the toadies? So we came from the water. Then we came on the land. We came from reptiles, from Tyrannosaurus Rex, or whatever other ludicrous fucking story that we're supposed to believe, because none of us really know what the fuck happened, right? And the goat god was explaining to me that it's funny.
I
but
love that.
It's true.
I'm glad you elaborate on that
Yeah.
though, and let me know that it was more than just that. You're like, it's the best of everything.
Yeah, it's everything.
You know?
And this thing is telling me, it just had antlers, so I call it the goat god. It's funny. But this thing's telling me that for years, man walked barefoot through the pasture or with leather of the buffalo that he killed, or the I'm a quarter Native American, so it's talking to me about like being, and my family was, you know, generation after generation American. I'm as motherfucking American as they come, right?
Oh, yeah.
And hence the American entourage here, right? America. And so he's telling me that forever, you know, we everything we did was natural. We had natural weapons, spears, bows and arrows. You know, we used every bit of the buffalo. We used every bit of the cow. We used, you know, decomposed. We had animals. We farmed. And at some point, technology, once we started mining silicone and metals, technology shows up. Technology really doesn't show up until like, man, the early 1900s. If you think about it, like TV's only been around since like the 40s, yo. It hadn't been that fucking long. So technology shows up on the scene like a disease, man. And in less than 100 years, all of a sudden this fucking technology is already got a critical tipping point where people already spent more time in the technology than they did with the natural things.
Yep.
And I want you to think about how fast technology spread. It was saying that the synthetic things, like this is like, let's say it is a living organism, that's a good thing. It was saying these synthetic things are getting smarter every day because when we talk, they're always around us. And then when we talk, we usually talk through the phone to somebody. A lot of our communication, it's like 10% face-to-face, everything else is through the phone, right? We put our data in here, it has our DNA, it has our sweat, it has all this like, you know, we're putting all of our thoughts in here, we're putting our calendar, it knows like, they know, this thing knows more about me than you guys know about me. You know what I'm saying? The kind of pictures and everything else. And the God was saying that we have reached a critical tipping point in a record fucking amount of time to where the synthetic things are more informed than the natural things. And he's like, we've got to turn this thing around. It's not good for the planet, you know, but if you're not plugged in, it is like a disease. If you're not
That's
fucking
like your
plugged
second
in,
brain, man, because people, they think through this thing.
Kurzweil says we're going to have it implanted into our brains, man.
Like, you literally think through this thing because
Crazy.
you keep all your thoughts right there because you got so many going. You're just like, I'll leave it right here on this page and I'll walk away and I'll leave it unread. And so like, you don't even read these messages in your mind. You leave them unread in your inbox. You know, you'll come back to them later. That's your brain right there, and that's what like it's being programmed to be. It's crazy, man. Like,
That's some deep shit, huh?
yeah, it is when you start thinking about it.
I think it kind of frees you up though, because it's got like, I'm just playing the devil's advocate here because I'm all aboard, but I just think it's like you also, it frees your mind up to think about other things though. If you don't have to remember all these all
your
this
brain.
stuff on your phone, yeah, like so this is all.
It's an external hard drive.
If
Yeah,
you do it
yeah.
with intention, like you teach, you know,
Yeah,
here at
it
White
is.
Free Academy, if you do it with intention and use it with intention, it can be the best.
But
tool
it
in
frees
the
you
world.
up. It frees you up to have more time to actually get to have
Think.
creative thought. You know,
Yeah.
like because you don't have to be fucking remembering all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I
see-
fully agree.
We use our phones for good. We use them to help people, and we use them to communicate with people and make webinars and all this other stuff for our business and talk to our kids and all that. A lot of people, man, they get on the phone for arguing on Twitter,
Yeah.
right? Let me give you a couple of examples.
That is the truth. That is a fucking hard thing to. That's a hard thing to resist.
So
The urge to do
I've finally been able to do that. Just
I'm
don't.
kicked off of Facebook for 30 days, right?
How much longer?
To 15 more days.
That's like a
Yeah.
lifetime these days, man.
Yeah.
We're like,
It is.
holy shit.
Yeah.
Especially when that's your life.
That's doing a bit. That's doing a bit, bro. That's doing a bit. And so I'm kicked off for 30 days. I said the word training. I saw that Infowars, they at least they were nice enough to send Infowars a message saying that, you know, Infowars was saying that they got a message saying they can't use tranny, or what was the other word that they said?
Said,
Drag queen.
you-
Drag, yeah.
Even though there's a drag queen page on Facebook and everything else, man, they're censoring free thinking
Exactly.
motherfuckers. That's it. It's not about sex. It's not about sex, it's not about racism, because those motherfuckers don't care about you. Zuckerberg's not a black guy, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't give a fuck about them. What he does care about is separating motherfuckers, you know what I mean? What he does is silence and free speech from people, right? And that's what they're fucking doing, using this as a tool to silence free speech. Alex Jones, he's crazy as shit because there's interdimensional child molesters, right? But at the same time, they're censoring his free speech. He can say whatever the fuck he wants, you know what I'm saying? But they're censoring his free speech, and they did that to me too. And the word tranny, you know, you see, like, so where's the line? So we're going to start creating words that only subcultures can use. We've already done that with the black culture, right? And so now we're going to start creating words that only the gay culture can use. Then we're going to start creating words that only the Jewish culture can use, and then only creating words only the Muslim. So this is like keeping a word to one person or technology to one culture or another only perpetuates the same thing that you're trying to say. It's like fucking to stop rape.
Well, that's like everybody having every little culture is going to have their own little form of the N-word, you know, and that's
what they're trying to do. But like, let's just stop that right where
exactly you should, you know, because
they should take a note from the white playbook, right? We get called crackers, we get called honkies, and none of that shit you never heard a white dude in your fucking life ever complain. People call you fucking stupid ass cracker.
Yeah,
right,
you haven't had politicians gassing you up over the past 20, 30 years
right.
Every single
But I'm saying
day.
they should take a fucking play because it doesn't affect white folks.
Nobody's
I've never met a
the other
single white
angle
person
to
that's
that.
offended by being called a cracker or a honky by any other race.
No.
And even when like
Unless you're
black
a low
comedians
level
tell
thinker.
jokes and a Hispanic comedians tell jokes about white people on stage, I never heard of white people go, that's some offensive shit, right? Usually what we do is go, God damn, right? Like, and we laugh.
The only people that get offensive are those people that are low-level people.
It's low self-esteem.
Yep.
That's what happens. You get offended when you have low self-esteem, and they've been conditioned to have low self-esteem by the media and
They've been
politicians. And
conditioned to
shit.
not low self-esteem.
It's terrible.
They've been conditioned to like get angry about hearing the word. You know what I mean? That's what you're supposed to do. Don't let them say that.
Yeah. That's supposed to cause you to get emotional and where you can't control yourself.
But that only makes it worse.
Yeah,
exactly.
But they would say, hey man, every time you hear cracker, you got to just fucking lose your shit and fucking go.
But then they
fight
give out
somebody.
cards to different people because if you have this kind of attitude, you can say this, or you get a special exception, and it's just like it just becomes an extremely gray line that like it shouldn't be there in the first place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't get
Like
how
if
they
you
get
don't,
away with
if we don't like a word, right? Let's just not let all the rappers just say it over and over again. Let's just all not say it. Period. If we need to diminish what that meaning and the harsh reality of that word, let's just get rid of it. Yeah. But what's happened is they've made it cool to say that to each other because they're cutting each other down. It's only perpetuating that problem. You know, it's crazy. But I want to talk about, so Facebook's censoring us, but I want to talk about how crazy things are. Let me pull up my Twitter account. Since I got kicked off of Facebook, I've been on Twitter. And
I'm excited to hear about this.
Man,
We don't get into the Twitter realm a lot.
I thought people argued on Facebook, and it was annoying. Holy shnikes. Twitter is like massive retardation, right? And I don't use that word lightly. I use that word very heavily, right? And very, very, very massive retardation. And it's people that you ever like know somebody, like in my lifetime I've hired some mentors, and along the way I've been like, oh shit, I'm smarter and make more money than this guy. Fuck, man. Now I'm like, oh fuck, I had no idea. You know, it's like shit. This guy's not gonna be able to help me, really. Like, I find a lot of people on Twitter that I used to have respect for. That I'm like, oh shit, this motherfucker's stupid. I didn't realize that. Damn it, man.
At least you're finding out.
You know, and yeah, at least you find out just like looking on.
Better late than never.
So let me just read you. The easiest way to do it is just like go to Donald Trump's account, right? So he says, it's actually hard to believe how naive or dumb the failing New York Times is when it comes to foreign policy. They're weak and ineffective. So I'm guessing the New York Times ran some kind of foreign policy op-ed that's bullshit, right? And right here, this guy says, failing New York Times with the largest subscriber base ever. Yes, but that subscribers don't buy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and how do we know that's true? But we do know New York Times is failing because you can check their price on the fucking stock index. You know what I'm saying? Like it's fucking Donald Trump. That's like logic. I don't know. Look it up. It's NYT. And here's another guy who says, my guess is that you know the New York Times is about to break another huge story. That's actually pretty good. Do you even know what the word failing means? The way that you use it shows that you don't. Failing means you're doing really bad at something, kind of like how you are leading this country. You are a failing leader. But this guy that I just read that from, I didn't realize this, but he tweeted 7, 8, 9 times in a fucking row to the president, just like, and I see his face on here all the time. He's just constantly one of those guys.
Look at it
trolls.
changing right there. Like, look at it just constantly just updating how many content. I've
And it
only
says,
really got Donald Trump on my Twitter because I just like watching his
Here's the
updates.
thing. It says, be strong, you old fat dotard, and resign now. You dislike the New York Times because they expose you as a pathological liar and fraud that you are. And you see people say that, but like, where's he lying? And where's the fraud? And you can read these comments over here, and like you can go back to anything. So right here, top Democrats call for conservative media to be censored. And right here, you've got people that are just all over this, just arguing. It's like, I take issue with your headline, Mr. Jones. You followed in the footsteps of fake news, slandering unsupported, uncharged allegation that's taken place against Judge Moore. I guess that's Roy Moore.
Yeah.
Get a grip. We still have innocent until proving guilty, act accordingly. And it's just like dude, it's just one argument after another. But here's the thing, you take a stand over there on Twitter, and it's funny, like when you look at Donald Trump tweets, man, people get so triggered. And they're like, we want equality, you fat orange fuck, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like, you should be nice to people, you piece of shit motherfucker, right? Like, it's just crazy, the fucking arguments over here. I'm fucking looking for some examples here. Of course, there wouldn't be any when I'm looking on the air.
You know what I see when I look at those people saying that stuff? I just see like people in the town square like throwing tomatoes at somebody, but you know, maybe in this case it would be just throwing a scarecrow because they actually can't hit them. But yeah, that's what it looks like to me. They're all mad about their own lives and their own. Why are you on Twitter just talking shit like all
have time for this.
Every
When did
day,
Trump make
same
that
people.
tweet about New York Times? Was it today?
Yeah.
When did he first start making tweets about it? Because the price started.
10:52 a.m.
Because the price started dropping this year on October 5th. So whatever happened on October 5th, once again on July 27th, something major happened on July 27th to make this stock drop. Then once again, it got back up to the same price again on October 5th. It dropped again, and now it's completely, going down.
Wait till the New York Times. Probably every time Trump says fuck the New York Times and shit.
That's what it's looking like. That's what it's looking like on there as a trend.
So here we
This
go,
guy
right
says
here is Donald Trump.
Traitor Trump like
Yeah.
100 times.
These dudes
Dude,
do
I mean,
that.
how do you even have time to do this?
So this right here, it says, do you think this is Trump, do you think the 3 UCLA basketball players will say, thank you, President Trump? They were headed for 10 years in jail. So he went over there and he
Saved
rescued,
that ass, huh?
he saved some guys from China,
Yeah.
right? And then this lady
Lonzo
says,
Ball's
so
son.
much ignorance and foolishness before noon. Then right here it says, a leader would have brought them back with consequences. What they did was a crime and beyond stupid in community in China. Then you've got here is, let's see, let me pull this up. There's a hilarious one. The guy says, you should have left their asses there. It's not your fault that you had to explain. Let's see, do you think... This person says, do you think Arpaio should publicly thank 45 for his pardon like he did, first of all? Yes. If you let me out of jail, I'm going to thank you for fucking pardoning me too, right? And what's that got to do with these fucking dudes claiming this bullshit over there, right? And let's see, where's the other guy? He's like, these guys got in trouble in China. White people go there every day and never get in trouble. What's that fucking got to do with, like... I don't know what the guys did. Look it up. What's the UCLA basketball team?
They stole some stuff from an expensive store over there.
Oh, it was there that they did that.
They did it in China. That was Lonzo Ball's son that did it. Was one of them as well. And
Lonzo Ball's son?
Lonzo Ball, like his middle child.
Gotcha.
That plays for UCLA currently, not the one that plays for LA. But they went over there. UCLA went over there for a basketball game or a tournament, and they went out shopping, and like he stole from multiple locations.
Shoplifting.
Stupid, man. This right here, it says,
Our president said to Z, do you know anything about these knuckleheads that got caught allegedly stealing? So I guess the president's over there like, get these, let me have my idiots back.
This guy says, do you approve or disapprove of President Trump's performance? And so right here it says 80%, right? And this is a poll that, like, this is a very popular dude. The guy's got a lot of followers here. And so and Trump retweeted it. So you know there's a ton of liberals trying to attack it and vote it down. It still says 80%, but this says, then why are his approval ratings around 36? It says, are you referring to the polls that CNN uses? Those very polls said Hillary would win by a landslide. There's your answer. And then this guy says, but Hillary won more in the popular vote, so they got something right. It's like,
people just
fucking argue, man.
And he stays so relevant because of that.
This survey is asking about his job performance, not the election. The election was over a year ago. Please stop rehashing it, right? And people were like, dude, it's just fucking hilarious. I will never accept him as my president. But like, why are you following him on Facebook? You know, or on Twitter, right? Why are you retweeting his stuff, man? It's just, we live in a weird time, man. We live in a time, I say this all the time here in the office, when motherfuckers run up to you and slap you hard as shit and they'll be like, why are you mad? Why are you mad? Why are you mad? This guy's trying to attack me, right? Like, dude, it's crazy. I wrote an article for Forbes earlier today, and they hit me up, and sometimes they publish them, sometimes they don't, but it was asking, like, what were some PR nightmares that happened this year that could have been avoided, and how would you avoid it? And I follow T.I. I like his rap, shit like that. He's a little out of control lately, but I follow his raps and his music, and I like the guy. And he's done some time, you know, and he made a stupid mistake and went back to Forest City and had to do some more time. And he's a businessman. And I got a little respect for him, so I follow him. Well, there was this Houston's restaurant, like we got here, Houston's restaurant in Atlanta. And there's a black couple that goes in there, and something happened or whatever, and they didn't get their seats or shit didn't work out well for them. And the lady was yelling at the chef or the manager or whatever, and she's recorded, blah, 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 like fucking getting all over them and shit, you know. And it could have easily, what I wrote in the article was like, you know, because of that video getting leaked and the dude not doing anything to try to stand up for it, because he just like, as soon as she turned the video on, he just kind of got all smug and shit and was like, you know what, this conversation's over, right? And was asking her to leave. But man, this ain't the time to do that, right? Like this, if somebody's screaming some racism shit or whatever, if they, 9 times out of 10 people, like mark my words, 99.9% of the time it's not racism, it's just because you're a fucking asshole, right? It doesn't have anything to do with your skin color, it's you, right? If somebody doesn't like Ryan Stewart, which happens every fucking day, right? It's not because I'm white. Right? It's because I'm an asshole, right? Because they don't like that I cuss or whatever. And so some people can't because you can't control your skin color. So it's easy to say, you know, oh, it's because I'm black, because that's something you can't control. But you can't control your attitude. But if you blame it on something you control, then you'd have to take personal responsibility. There ain't nobody fucking about that right now. So back to this, in the article I wrote, well, what the guy could have done easily to avoid the whole fucking situation is simply say, ma'am, I'm sorry for the misunderstanding. Let me go make somebody get up. Let me move a table. We'll get you right to the front of the line. Fuck, I apologize 100% and I'll comp your meal. Right? Instead, this motherfucker played the cocky game. Hey, you know what? Maybe you lost money on the meal, but she might fucking went back and told all of her friends and they all fucking come in there and been cool as shit. And that'd have been a new fucking, she could have sent him a bunch of referrals. You know, but instead the dude fucking clammed up. The next thing you know, he got T.I. on his Instagram with a fucking picket sign and shit in front of the restaurant talking about Houston's is racist. Like, that guy's got like 18 million followers on Instagram. Like, fuck, you fucking moron. Like, and of course the chef didn't know that T.I. was going to get involved, but why even go down that path anyway? If someone feels offended for that reason, like, let's have a conversation. And especially if you record me, it's like, hey, it's not like that at all. Matter of fact, we make it up to you. Right? As a matter of fact, this is what happened. Now you're recording, this is what happened. And this is what we're going to take care of it. It's all good. Right? Like,
it would have been game over
it
after
would have
that.
been fucking game over. But instead, this motherfucker got T.I. picking and saying down with Houston's and shit on his Instagram.
The owner of that is not happy.
Dude, and you know T.I. show up, this motherfucker's popular.
Yeah.
So, like, we go into Houston's to fucking rally, motherfucking all of Atlanta's there, man.
That's the whole city
people
right
trying
there.
to get fucking autographs from T.I. and shit. I bet it fucked their restaurant up for a long time because Houston's is expensive. If there's people protesting out front and they're saying that they're racist and I'm white, I'm not gonna fuck. That's like saying that they're having Klans meetings in there and like you going to fucking belong to them, right? I'm not fucking fixing to do that shit.
All right, so in that situation, what do you do as the owner?
Well, that's what I said is as the owner. So now, first thing you do, fire that motherfucking chef, publicly apologize for it, and give them a fucking year's worth of comp fucking meals, and call T.I. and tell them calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I would
That's
do.
an easy problem to solve.
I'll fire,
It really is.
and I'll replace that motherfucker with a black person. You know what I'm saying? It's just, hey, man, just fucking, there it is. There's your fucking end of the problem. It may not be what you fucking like, but say, hey, man, fire the white dude because he's fucking racist to show you how much fuck care. We'll hire a black dude fucking go on the spot. Qualified person, obviously. But just to fucking show you that we don't fucking get down like that with our corporation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's cool.
Because the dude clearly handled it wrong.
And it would solve it overnight. Like,
Solve it
basically
overnight. But instead, they fucking took the hard-headed path. You know, they said, we are not fucking...
Do you think the employee buffered like you talk about because he didn't know, like he was just trained to do his job, so when that kind of situation happened, he just turned the fuck off? Do you think that's a form of buffering?
Man, one time,
he would-
I'm just
he's
gonna
not
tell y'all
that
some
quick.
shit, like, okay, some shit that's happened to me. I've been in that situation. I managed a car wash in Irving, Texas. And this is the only time I've ever even, I've never been exposed to racism, right? And this is the only time that like I had ever been exposed to like real racism, right? And so there's a gentleman in a red Lexus. I remember this like yesterday. And at the car wash, you pull in, you get out of the car. Well, the manager said, hey man, this dude drove off 3 times. It was assistant manager. He said, this dude's drove off 3 times. And he hadn't paid for the car wash, man, but he works for like WFAA, which is Channel 8 here. So he works for like WFAA, and he's like friends with John Wiley Price, who's big black activist, and he's like, man, so he snuck off 3 fucking times, man. You gotta watch him and make sure he pays. So this guy's already been scamming us, right? And he's got these high level. So, you know, I'm fresh out of prison. I mean, I have been out of prison 6 fucking months at this time. I don't give 2 fucks about nothing, man. I ain't got a car payment, a house payment. I don't give a fuck. And I'm fucking swole as shit because I've been doing 1,000 fucking push-ups a day. I'm 23 years old, man. I look like fucking Travis. You couldn't tell me shit except for I'm about 4 inches shorter. and so this guy, I'm like, all right, fuck it. So, like, I spray his car down, then I go in the front and wipe it down, and I wait out there for him, and I'm just kind of managing the front of the lot. And the dude comes out there, and what he's trying to do is pick the dude that's cleaning his car up. He's like, hey, man, y'all missed some spots. And then what he was going to do is complain, say he wanted his money back, right? I've been in the fucking game. I wash 1,000 cars a day sometimes, man. And we're in the hood. There ain't shit you fucking haven't passed by me. We got poor motherfuckers trying to get free car washes every day, you know? And so this guy's saying, armor all the tops of my tires. You listen, you think how ridiculous that sounds, right? But he's saying armor all like the tread. Yeah. And I said, man, we can't do that. It's a safety hazard. Because like you go fucking spin off on the lot or some shit and hit somebody, you could sue us. So no, we're not going to do that. He said, well, I want my money back. I said, man, I had a feeling he was going to ask that. Why? Because I'm black? No, because this is the 3rd time that you fucking haven't paid us. How do you know that shit? Well, we got cameras everywhere. And we know that this car is fucking drove up. That's why I'm up here. Oh, you a racist motherfucker. I have John Wiley Price in the fucking NAACP. I was thinking about college basketball.
Yeah.
The NAACP. And I was like, this dude was like all sorts of shit. And I was like, well, if we're going to have all sorts of rallies up here, man, you might as well fucking call up whatever the fuck you got to call up, man, because you call up the news, whatever. This dude was threatening to fucking have the fucking, and it wasn't anything to do with him being a black, it was the fact that he fucking stole from us 3 times before, and it didn't want to armor all the tops of his tires because that's truly a safety hazard, right? But he's like within a matter of seconds, but here's what I did to fix it, right? Immediately he's talking about having the fucking news out there, and the assistant manager said that he works for the news doing something, right? And they probably know he's fucking nuts and can stir up controversy, so I don't want this incident with T.I. out there. So say, here's the thing, man, I'm not going to armor all the top of your tires. Yeah, I'm gonna take care of your car wash. And I just asked that you don't come here anymore. You know, car wash is free. You got 3 more that you and I both know that you got over on me. We got another location on the east side if you'd still like to use our company facilities. But I'm just gonna ask that you not come here anymore because this is it's not a good fit. You know, we have the right to refuse business to anyone, and obviously it's just not a good fit. But I'm gonna comp your car wash now. Never seen the guy again, never had another problem with him.
Yeah.
You know, give him what he wanted. He just wanted a free car wash. And had he come up to me and been like, hey man, you know, shit's a little hard business right now. Can I get a free car wash? Dude, I'll give people free car washes all the time. It didn't cost us but fucking 60 cents to wash a car. You know? But if you try to steal from me, and then when I catch you, you try to fucking say I'm racist, and you're going to call the fucking people to... And this was in 2003. I'm like, man, I'm sure those fucking games have gotten even better. Now I'm listening to Gucci Mane's biography. He's talking about his dad used to go around and scam people and shit like that. And it's like, man, that dude's like fucking threatening to call the news on me. And all I'm saying was like, hey, man, know you stole some shit from us. We got you on camera, stealing boxes on Friday. On your
How
day
fast
off.
can I crawfish out of that stuff?
Yeah.
Man. But I still, it's like, hey, I don't want the news here. Free car wash, fuck it. Just don't come back, man.
Yeah.
You know, you can still use our company. because I knew that he'd be like, oh, the company barred me because I'm black. Like, you still use our company's facilities on the other side, you know? Like that scene from Pulp Fiction, Zed's dead. Zed's dead. Right? It's like, what do we do now? Nothing. That's what we gonna do. Nothing. All right. The next thing is Kodak Black called me a fucking faggot yesterday on Twitter.
What?
He since deleted the tweet, but I got the screenshot.
Yes!
He deleted it?
Good.
Wow.
Yeah. And so,
I'll tag you.
That's
That's
crazy. That is wild,
What do you
man.
call you?
That's
So what do you call you that
Deleted
for?
it.
well, so what happened was I sent a tweet out, and I was like, you know, I was at the Jay-Z concert Tuesday. And Jay-Z, he says, you know, it's not a black thing. It's not a white thing. It's a human thing. He says if a kid gets shot by the police, shouldn't matter what fucking color his skin is. The fact is somebody lost a fucking kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We got it all fucked up. And he says, like, black people, we got to get our shit together. You know? And he's like, we letting these fucking people run us over and talk to us all sorts of crazy. He's like, y'all not seeing the big picture. And he's like, white folks, y'all got to fucking look at things from an oppression standpoint. And he goes, because it's human issues. You know, and he was like out there and he wasn't, you know, a lot of the rappers right now, they're taking a stand, like hype people up towards racism and shit. And Jay-Z's out there talking about this human thing. And he says, man, and the biggest problem is our justice system. And I don't think Jay-Z's ever done any time. I know he's never been convicted of anything. I think he was a pretty slick motherfucker that he didn't ever get in no trouble. And it's up for maybe in that 99 Problem song, right? I think they got him in that video. But I don't think he's ever been in any kind of like jail or anything like that, right? And so he said, we've got this human issue, and part of it's the justice system. For example, he says, my boy Meek, you know, this guy committed a crime when he was in his teens. He's been on probation for 10 years. He's only 2 years away from probation getting off. He does some wheelies on the freeway, and now all of a sudden, you know, they're trying to give him 2 to 4 years in prison, which they did give him Friday. Yeah. And you know, Meek, he's all right. You know, he's no Jay-Z, but he's all right rapper. And apparently he's violated probation multiple times over the years. He hasn't had a squeaky clean slate. I didn't know that. I tweeted on Twitter. I said, man, how the fuck they locked up Meek for 2 to 4 years? This piece of shit Kodak Black raping ass still running around, right?
Oh, man. I was wondering
like, fuck you, you fucking faggot. Like, that's all you got, man? I always think, like, that's not a word that I use, though. And it's not a word that any of my friends use either. Not because it's like somebody else's cultural word. It's just that, like, you only call somebody something like that if you feel that way, right? Mm-hmm. That's not something that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you call somebody something, really that's something within inside you. You're pointing out something in them that mirrors you. You know what I'm saying? So Kodak, man, you need to get your shit together. But the justice system is fucked. You know, we are in a situation now that where, you know, Trump's talking about overhauling taxes. Really what he needs to do is overhaul the penal code, man. If you didn't steal, rape, rob, beat somebody up, you know, like, you shouldn't be going to fucking prison. You know, we shouldn't be having people on 20-year probation. What the fuck you need to watch a motherfucker for 20 years? Are you the same person you were 5 years ago?
No.
Are you the same person you were 2 years ago?
Not even close.
Are you the same person you were a year ago?
No.
Man, we fucking, everybody changes, man. And listen, some people, you know, you watch them for 2 or 3 years, you know the motherfuckers ain't gonna clean their life up, man. You know, you're gonna have to fucking catch them and ship them upstate. Just Some people don't get any better, but there's really no reason to be watching motherfuckers for 20 years. You know, there's really, think of all the drug test cups we waste, think of all the resources, all the probation officers. It's just ridiculous, you know? And
who's that guy that said that he wanted you to help him with this company because he sold a urinalysis test, and you're like, sorry, brother, you just ain't a good fit here. You know, I can't be helping with that bad karma.
Can't do it. It's bad karma. I'm not going to get into any situation that hurts people. You know, and even if it's locking murderers up, man, I don't want to be. I don't want to have nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to have anything to do with the justice system because it is fucked. It is fucked, man, because there's so many laws that you can get in trouble for anything at any time. You know, like there's something at any point, anywhere they can come and get you and come up with something. It's fucking scary. You know, it really is. We're in a time where we have all these beta motherfuckers that are politicians. They just go in there and they just write law after law that benefits them. And then what happens? You got some slick fucking wolf talking in their ear, telling them what to write laws on. And there's lots of unintended consequences, you know. And what's weird about our country is if we start unraveling laws, then we got to start questioning the Constitution. I think the Constitution's a perfect document. However, and all these laws have been added to it, And I think the guys that really founded our country were brilliant. I really do. And I think the Constitution is absolutely a work of art. And I think that we should just revert back to it. I think it should just be that simple. But if we start repealing laws, then they'll say, well, then we've got to start looking at another constitution too, obviously, right? That'll be the argument. But we are at a time to where shit that mattered 200 years ago doesn't matter now. Technology only started in the 1900s. TV didn't show up till the 40s, you know, and then it wasn't in everybody's home. It was like only for the elite.
Right.
So the things that happened when a lot of these laws were written, even if they were only written 20 years ago, don't matter anymore. You know, I remember when I was in federal prison, all the black dudes were going home early because they had repealed the crack law. Apparently, there was a law targeted towards African Americans that if you had powder cocaine, you got like 1 year, right? But if you had crack, you got 10. So like all the black dudes were getting locked up for, 10, 20, 30 years over some crack. And then the last thing, they gave Obama credit for it, but I was there. The last thing George Bush did on the way out was reduce the crack law and let them all out. And so he cut their time and made crack the same as cocaine. Mm-hmm. And I watched like a mass exodus. Little things like that went a long ways. These dudes that have been doing 15 on a 30 now all of a sudden going home on a 5-year stint, right? They shouldn't have been there in the first place, And because you smoke crack, little jail time probably straighten you out, man. But that ain't gonna change your life. Whether you're in there for 5 years, all you do is cost society at 5 years anyway. The justice system's fucked up, man. And so the last thing I want to talk about is I saw GQ yesterday, and Colin Kaepernick is Citizen of the Year. Now, he's unemployed, anti-police, anti-national anthem, wears a Fidel Castro shirt, and he's Citizen of the fucking Year. Now, please, somebody in this room explain that to me. Just mind you, if we're just taking football players, J.J. Watts raised $37 million for people that were flood victims.
I saw that one too.
And so GQ named this motherfucker looked like somebody from the 70s, like Disco Stu from fucking The Simpsons. He really does, man.
I mean, he looked good for like what he was trying to go for. Like you could just tell, man. It was a good photo of him on the front. But to be Citizen of the Year, like what are the guidelines for being Citizen of the Year? Like what are we basing this off of?
That's crazy.
Is this off
That's serious.
Citizen of who? Russia?
Yeah, this is your Citizen of the Year.
It's just a slap in the face, man. They're just
really is, man.
They really are just like doing whatever they can. It's kind of like probably like backlash,
If you could make,
who
would your Citizen of the Year be, Ryan?
I can tell you this, man. I can 100% tell you this. There's military people, there's police officers, there's firefighters, there's even some serious politicians, there's preachers, there's rabbis, there's all these business owners, there's people that are out there that are running charitable organizations, there's all these people that are amazing human beings, and what's happening right now is the media is lifting up false prophets, right? And like, I'm not a biblical person, but in the Bible it says in the end there will be the rise of false prophets, and we are seeing this. This guy's a false prophet. They're trying. Now, we see prophets, we think somebody that can fucking make it rain and can talk to God and shit. But really all a prophet is a person of influence. Yep. And so they're lifting up all these people of influence. Just like I said earlier, the people that get murdered in these crimes, right? And then you go look at them, it's like, that motherfucker was waving a gun at the police. No wonder they shot him, right? They're lifting up all, and so what they do is they keep getting all these people's hopes up. They're programming. See, they know that liberalism is a disease, so they're programming them, right? Because the elites ain't really liberal. They don't really want to share their shit, or fucking Bill Gates would have given you some of his $50 billion. You know what I mean? Like, if they really believed in liberalism, George Soros would be fucking sharing his billions with you. If that's really what, if Hillary Clinton was really about fucking socialism, she'd be peeling off some of them 100 millions to her fucking constituents, right? So let's don't fucking stroke each other's balls here and pretend we're not homosexual. All right?
That was a good one.
So with this guy, what they're doing is they're lifting up these false prophets, these people that they want you to be like, because they're trying to destroy you, and they're saying, hey, this guy, Colin Kaepernick, he's a true example of what a liberal citizen should look like. He hates the police. He's fucking socialist because he likes Fidel Castro shirts or Che Guevara shirts, whichever one it was that he fucking, and he took a knee during the national anthem, which is one of the things that's like mandatory that you stand up and put your hand on, to the point to where he argued with his boss enough to lose his job. He had a full career. He had one fucking job: throw a goddamn inflated piece of pigskin filled with air
Shut up.
and shut the fuck up. And he couldn't even do that. And so he stood for all these terrible things against our country, but yet he's Citizen of the Year. Tell us the media is not on fucking some other team.
I don't see how people don't fucking see this.
Because they're sick,
It's
man.
crazy, man. Yeah, they're sick. They're sick. They're being brainwashed.
They're being brainwashed. That's it. They're
That's
being
exactly what's
brainwashed.
happening. Everything they see is brainwashing them, and it's just unreal.
I'm telling you,
It's so sad.
especially where I come from, people are in a fog. Okay, of this Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Once you get to Friday from 5 p.m. all the way till Sunday night at 7 p.m., it's your time on the weekend, you know, and then you do what your employer says during the weekend. I'm telling you, people get into these routines and they get told, you know, they get taught these things growing up and they can never get past the routine or the teaching of what they learned. They never know that there's anything else out there. They don't get that red pill per se, you know. So that's one of the
I
things.
have
Like,
though. You
yeah,
know?
absolutely.
And I just learned it
You
by
never go
experience.
back, you know.
You know, when I was young, I was all about the Bill Clinton and shit too. You know, and then as I get older, I think what happened was when I was young, I smoked pot and chased girls. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, when you get older, you smoke weed and you're like, watch the news and shit, you're like, that doesn't fucking add up.
Yeah.
Right?
Seriously.
And then you start feeling bad for people. You're like, dude, they're fucking over different fucking segments of our citizens. You know what I'm saying? Like, the real racism is what's fucking going on. The real cultural diversity and the cultural divide is the game that these fucking people are playing with us, and that's fucking harmful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But here's what I know. In my neighborhood, if we all know each other in the neighborhood, if some natural fucking disaster happens or we get bombed, we all click up and we go fucking function as a neighborhood, right? Just like we function here as a company. If I don't know any of my neighbors, then I might turn them into fucking enemies and I become fucking paranoid. It's any man for themselves. Then the enemy can easily fucking take me over because I'm not working in a team effort. I'm working in a solo effort.
Right.
Right? It's like fucking pure common sense. And they're breaking us fucking down. And it's not the Ryan Stewman conspiracy theory. It can't be a conspiracy because it's clearly fucking happening.
Exactly.
Every time we walk
So
through, the
obvious.
only way that we even get these headlines is walking through our corridor where they're brainwashing these fucking people here. But look at what companies are in this building. Huge Fortune 500 companies that want their fucking employees brainwashed.
That's it.
I watched this old
Crazy how
lady
big
yesterday
it is.
staring at some shit on the fucking Roy Moore shit or whatever. Just fucking all like, you remember you watch cartoons when you was a kid, they're like fucking eyeballs, like she was just all hypnotized. You know, my buddy Marshall Silverman, he red pilled me to all this shit. What's the dude's name that does Dilbert? Scott Adams?
Scott Adams, good
Man, that
Lord.
motherfucker will red pill you too, man, if you watch him. You know, Instant Influence, which is a good YouTube channel. They'll explain all of it. It's fucking crazy shit that we got going on, man. It really is. And I feel bad for fucking
And you know what, too, man? That they want people to subscribe to an ideology. Like there's two ideologies, man. If you subscribe to the conservative capitalist ideology, then you're gonna win. You're gonna be a winner. If you subscribe to this bullshit, the leftist like I have problems and I blame my problems on other people and on things that are outside my circumstance. If you subscribe to that, you're gonna be a fucking loser and you're gonna be plugged in and have one of these corporations programming you every single day to stay like that, to stay average, and that's where you're gonna stay at. So that's hopefully it's a wake up call for anybody listening on here to
And it's
unplug.
So I want to say this to end the show.
It's good.
I'm going to say this to the camera, so like we're going to break character here and say this to the camera. But there's this, let's just say that there's no God, okay? And let's just say that we're all put here on a server, right? We're just fucking animated beings living inside a server in a Google frozen warehouse in Wichita, Kansas, right? And so we've got artificial intelligence. That's what's inside of here is AI. The bots are inside of us. And let's just say that in order for us to exist, we would have to code, right? So the bots that we're creating now, there's somebody out there, Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg or whoever, their team is coding these bots, right? I have friends that are in the artificial intelligence business. That's what they have tons of Asian PhDs. That's what they hire, Asian PhDs to code for them. And so let's just say that we were coded, right? And now we're coding the next generation. And let's just say that we're coded. Well, there has to be, in order for code to work, there has to be an average, right? You code video games based on the average player's experience, not on the extreme player's experience. That would make it too hard for the average player. So We call that the divine coder. So let's just take God, all that stuff off, Yahweh, all that off, and let's just call it the divine coder. So there's somebody, a Mark Zuckerberg type, that coded this experience that we're having here, right? Now, I say that because one of the things within that code is something called the force of average. And the force of average has a baseline that this code has to operate on. So there is a baseline that this planet operates on. And on that baseline, in order for that baseline to work, there has to be a certain amount below the baseline, a certain amount on the baseline, and a certain amount over the baseline for that baseline to exist, right? Just like any other graph. Well, the higher you go above that baseline, let's just say gravity attempts to pull you back towards that baseline. The lower you go from that baseline, let's just say that gravity tries to pull you up. So it's easier to fall under the lower part of that baseline because you're getting pulled up versus go past the upper part of that baseline where you're having to push away and you have drag, right? So anytime that you're breaking free, anytime that you're making money, you're seeing success, your life's going well, your wife's going well, your health's going well, you're breaking above that average. And what happens is that force of average steps out and starts creating that gravitational pull to push you back to that baseline. Now, for poor people, for stupid people, for underperformers, what happens is that's trying to pull you up. Well, one of the ways that it pulls you up is with false empowerment. You're in the bottom 30%, it makes you feel like you're in the top 30% because it's pulling you up and things are so easy. It's actually easier to live on a fixed income than it is to live on commission, because commission, you're taking risk, you're going through rough seasons and everything else, and a fixed income, happy, content, comfort zones where human beings don't leave. And the force of average will use your comfort zone as a tool to keep you average. But here's the thing, guys like me that try to break away and come the 1%, what happens is we have a huge amount of gravitational pull from the force of average trying to push you back down. And we call that the struggle. What happens is, through most people's lives, they've been told that there's this happily ever after thing that's going on, right? You see it in movies, you hear it in fairy tales, you read it in books. At the end, somebody's happy, everybody makes off, cue curtains, fucking, there you go. Well, in real life, that doesn't exist. There is no ever after until you're dead. And you're not going to be happy every day from now from a certain, there's not anything in your life, nor will there ever be anything in your life that will make you so happy that you'll be happy forever and ever after. Because even if you were that happy, that means that you're breaking away from that force of average, that baseline, and you're going to get that gravitational pull to keep you down to being unhappy, which is what most people are, because it's across the board. It's not in one area or the other. But here's what I know. What is real is the struggle. You see, I figure the people that watch this show, just like the people that hang out in this room, are the above baseline people. We are the top 20, top 10, top 1% of the world. And what happens when you are living on that level, you're challenged a lot, just like being any other champion. You're challenged a lot. The force of average tries to bring you back down to that baseline. But what's out there is the struggle. The struggle is one of the tools of the force of average that brings you back to that baseline. And so we spend our whole lives looking for happily ever after, something that doesn't exist, when what finds us is the one thing that does exist, and that's the struggle, and then it slaps us and blindsides us because we weren't expecting it. But just know right now, the struggle is all around us. We live in the best time. It's like the tale of two cities. We live in the best of times, and we live in the worst of times. We live in a time where you can protect your home with a camera, but only because thieves want to steal packages off your front porch, right? Like, we live in the best of times and worst of times, and the struggle is a tool of the force of average to turn your best of times into the worst of times. They're using the media, they're using the news, they're using racism, violence, weird sexual stuff, and drugs as tools against you. Because they may not be using it to you. You may say, well, who am I today? Who am I? What does it even matter? What if you did become somebody? What if you are something? What if you keep building? Those tools are going to come against you. So here's what I would challenge you this week as we wind the show down here is keep your eye open for the struggle. Right? Take a line from Metallica. Sleep with one eye open and keep it open for the struggle, because you probably spent your whole life looking for happily ever after, and that shit don't exist. But if you look for the struggle, then you'll never be blindsided by it. So thanks for hanging out with us. You got anything you want to add, Travis?
All good.
Pat?
Good, man.
Thanks for hanging out, Ryan.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's great being on here.
Absolutely.
That's it. We out.